All right, Nick, let's talk Cincinnati Bengals. There's been some big news about the Bengals lately that I think is going to be bigger for the long term success of the team, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But before we get there, we want to know Bengals, the season is coming up quickly, and you have a team that is primed to go on a deep playoff run again after they made it to the Super Bowl last year. You have some really great offensive firepower on your team and guys that are primed for some potential big awards. It's very early on in the season, but let us know who's your MVP candidates for this year. Is it Jamar Chase? Is it Joe Burrow? Is there another hidden gem on this team that you think could make a deep play for MVP this season? Let us know in the comments below. Who do you think this year's MVP is going to be? But Nick, why don't you let us into the new Bengals story that's running around the block?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Bengals for a long time, under the ownership of the Brown family, have been one of the more, I'll say it nicely, fiduciary responsible teams. They've been very tight with the old pocketbooks. They don't spend a lot of money. The joke for a long time, they didn't have an indoor practice facility, even though they're up in Ohio. Obviously, of course, that changed in April when they announced they're going to build one. And what we're starting to see from the Bengals is they're actually making some other big investments or looking that way. And this is according to the Cincinnati Enquirer. Paul Brown Stadium, home of the Cincinnati Bengals, will now become Paycor Stadium after Paycor HCM Inc. and the team agreed to a deal on the naming rights of the stadium effective immediately. The deal is for 16 years and has been in the works since March, the Bengals told the Enquirer. They did not release financial details. Uh, this is a move that I think my father would have agreed to. He was always for what is best for the football team, said Bengals president Mike Brown. This partnership allows the Bengals to continue to compete at the highest level in the NFL and exemplifies our long-term commitment to the community. All right, Miles, you and I have talked about this a good bit, and I think what this is a sign of, and you've seen some talking heads kind of bring up, it's like, oh, this is to raise money for Burrow's contract, all that. And yeah, that could play a little bit of role, but the way the salary cap and the CBA is structured in the NFL, teams have to commit a certain amount of dollars anyway. This helps a little bit with that. But I look at a deal like this as in getting money to build a franchise, a program. We talked about the indoor practice facility. I see this as the Bengals see their opportunity with Joe Burrow the same way Kansas City saw their opportunity with Pat Mahomes, the same way the Indianapolis Colts, when they got Peyton Manning in the late 1990s, saw their opportunity to kind of elevate their franchise and their status. I think the Bengals and Mike Brown see that now, and they want to make sure they invest everything they can in the city, one, to attract talent, and two, to just grow a stronger brand around the Bengals as they kind of become one of the, hotter, newer, more powerful franchises in the NFL. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, well, if we think about that, they didn't really discuss the deal numbers as per the filming of this video. We don't have those details. But if we can relate it to something else that happened recently with the naming of Acrisure Stadium, formerly Heinz Fields with Pittsburgh Steelers, that was around $150 million for those naming rights, about 11th in the NFL. It's probably somewhere around that range,
Ballpark, yeah.
probably. And that's going to go a long way. And like you said, they need to update the facilities. They need to make the Bengals facilities top tier. You got to have an indoor practice facility, state of the art gym, which I'm sure they have, the best rehab facilities. You want to have everything that you could possibly desire. So, like you said, when these guys come into the Bengals, who's going to be a very enticing target once you get the salary um, uh, contracts done with Burrow and Chase and all the other stars on your team, you can start looking around and you're going to be a little tight in the pocketbook.
That's a great point.
And you're going to have guys come in, and a deciding factor is, okay, it's a great team. There's a lot of good weapons around here. Why would I want to take a little bit less money to come here? Okay, the Bengals have a top tier facility. They have everything we need to get better. Obviously, they care about winning. You got to show people that you care about winning and that you want to go the distance. So doing this is the step in the right direction of updating your facilities, getting everything right on track to build, like you said, a franchise looking towards the future.
Yeah, that you bring a great point about talking about from the organization from a top-down perspective to show you care about winning. Because obviously, I brought it up. The Bengals for a long time have been really kind of penny pinchers as an organization, and that trickles down to the players as a mentality. This organization isn't committed to winning and being a championship contender. Even when the Bengals had really talented teams under Marvin Lewis a few years ago, and they were going to playoff games and things like that, you always got the feeling that they were never going to take that next step because they just were held back by the organization and just how they managed the money in the franchise. Mike Brown realizes that didn't work at all, obviously, and he's got an even better situation with Joe Burrow as his quarterback, Zach Taylor, who looks like he could be their longtime head coach, looks like he's a good fit. And once you have quarterback right and coach right, that is the time that the organization needs to invest. Historically in the NFL, I go back to the San Francisco 49ers in the late 70s through the 80s. They got Joe Montana. They had Bill Walsh as their coach. So what does their owner do? The great Eddie D. Eddie D. I'm going to butcher his last name, so I won't even go through that.
I got
He invests. Yeah, he invests extremely heavy in the franchise, revamped the entire organization and culture, and the San Francisco 49ers became a dynasty, right? And that's how you do it. You still have to build that strong organizational foundation. Even if when you get coach right and quarterback right, it's that extra little push that can make you one of the elite franchises in the NFL.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.